Without wasting any more time, we are going to jump right into the next build. Splat. As usual, we'll see what's in the box, then we'll dive into it with just a bit more detail. So far I'm seeing just a big clump of parts and a waste of ink. Right off the bat, I'm noticing a very clean and very crisp mold. There are mold lines. Revell did not do that well hiding them. And despite missing most of the structure, it's very sturdy. I am also very happy to see that the front louvers are functional in a sense, since they are molded open the way they should be. The body's also very straight. I'm happy, especially after working with the Testarossa a few builds ago. Not a fan of the roll cage being molded in, not a big deal, just more masking I have to do. I'm happy. A lot of pros and a very few cons. Good job, Revell. I should also mention that most of this kit is comprised of just very little sprues with specific parts on them. Here we have the door skins as well as the front hood scoop. Next up we have the hood and the side mirrors. And just like the body, they are very clean and very crisp. Next up we have the side headers and shifter, maybe. Not really sure what that is. It's got a really big knob on it if it's a shifter. Lastly, we have the axles, if you want to call them that. And next up we have the interior tub, and there's a lot going on here. Here we'll have the rear differential, the radiator, and all the cooling ducts for the brakes. Not a lot of room for an engine there. Rounding it off, we have the fluid reservoirs, as well as all the electronics. That brings us to the chassis pan itself. And just like the C5R and the C7R, this is a very thin, flimsy piece of plastic. I am very happy, however, to report that all the branding has been on the inside of it, just because, oh, you failed me, Revell. Other than that, we do have just a bit of warpage. It's not a very big deal, especially with this being as thin as it is. We'll have no problem popping it up into the body. On this small sprue, we'll find the dashboard, the steering wheel, and the gauge cluster. Not sure what that thing on the end is, but we'll find out. Here we have the massive intake plenum, as well as the intake and the restrictors. A seat with belts molded in. I hate when they do that. Lastly, we have the drive belts and whatever that is. Here we have the rear wing, the bottom of the dashboard with the pedals, some of the roll cage netting, and this thing. So glad they gave us that this time. Not sure what it is, but I'm glad it's there. Remember I said the parts count on these sprues were low? I was not kidding. Here we only have the roll cage halo and the rear bulkhead. I'm not sure what these are, but I'm happy to report that both of them are accounted for. Also on this sprue, we have the side braces for the roll cage, the parts that go along the door, and most of the front suspension. Of course, no Revell kit would be complete without their very toy-like chrome. Kinda happy with these wheels, they're not bad. We also have the wing uprights, what I think may be the halves of a fire extinguisher. We also have the headlight hardware, we have the mirror backs, I'm thinking maybe a gas cap. Looks like a gas cap. Either way, I can't wait to strip all this chrome off and make these look realistic. And I don't normally open the clear parts, but they stuffed a lot in this little bag, so I gotta take it all out to show you what we're working with. First thing we have is our red clear parts. These are those iconic taillights. Personally, I drive a Dodge, so I've never seen them, but I know what they look like from all the photographs I've seen online. We have the rear glass, and if you look real close, you can see that there's actually rivets and hardware that goes around the edge. Next to them, we have the headlight lenses and the fog lights. Here we have the front windscreen and the inserts for the wing windows. Now, I've built both the C5R and the C7R, and they both had the black pad printing on all the windows, so I'm not sure why this one does not. Here we have our metal axles. They're not rusty, so I can't really complain. And being that this is a race car, it's going to have slicks on it, and I think that these are made out of vinyl. They're just very shiny, they got kind of a weird oily feel to them, and they're really stiff. Revell has always impressed me with their decals. Now, while the M1 did kind of betray my trust with their decals, they're the only ones I've ever had a problem with. I'm not really a GM guy, nor am I up to date on racing, so I don't know who's who when it comes to these numbers and names. I'm gonna have to do a bit of research. Finally, we come to the instructions. A bit of history on the car right there. And down here, we have our paint callouts. Again, I never use those since I always look at reference photos. 95% of the time. We're gonna skim through step by step just to kind of get a rough idea of what we're up against. And I thought that was a fire extinguisher. I'm so glad Revell actually labels their parts like that. Steering wheel, who knew? And while we're skimming through here, I just like to note that since the past couple of videos, I've gotten maybe 150 subscribers. I don't really pay much attention to that kind of thing, but that is more than usual. So for all the newcomers, could you please just in the comments just let me know how you found me. If you found me through the search function, that's awesome. But if somebody actually shared this content, please let me know so that I can thank them and give credit where credit's due. And that is that. Should be a nice quick build. I do not foresee any problems. As I had mentioned earlier, last year I built the C5R and the C7R, and they were both gems. Revell does put out some quality work, so I'm hoping this one is just the same. Anywho, we got clear skies all next week, so we're gonna get some work done.